Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Ife's space. Yeah, this is my space. I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I just thought, you know what, let me just not in the middle of nowhere. We're going hiking. Who says we don't have green? I know that, yeah, this is a mixture of green and rocks, but it's still something, all right. So I just thought, you know what, let me record a video here and talk about something that I've been wanting to say all along. And this is regarding, I know that a lot of people would have been saying, oh, she's not talking about studying, visa and all of that. And I want to remind you all that my channel is not a relocation channel, really. See, it's all about lifestyle, living in Malta, my experiences along life's journey, family, fun, travel, everything, right? So that's I had to, like, you know what, let me just take steps back and do, like, other things as well. But I just thought, let me just do this video because September intake is actually in a few months, and the best time to start registration now, the best time to start registering and looking for schools and applying for your visa is actually now, so that you have ample time, for the whole visa processing. Basically, so what I want to talk about is, I've been seeing that someone actually sent me an email, and not just one person. I've been getting emails, people saying, oh, that please, they really want to relocate abroad to study. However, they're really scared about things that they've been hearing out there. Now, I think the story out there is that in Malta, it is just too hard. It is just too difficult to survive. A lot of people will live here for years, and they will still be depending on their parents to send them money. The struggle is real. This person asked me this question, and I was like, I really cannot start telling you to say, oh, come to Malta. Malta is a bed of roses. It's so easy in Malta. You can, achieve a lot in Malta. You can do things in Malta. It's a greener pasture you've been looking out for. I'll be telling lies, because at the end of the day, it all depends on our situation. If you're kind of someone that maybe you're coming for a bachelor's degree now, or let's say you're coming for your master's degree, and you kind of borrowed funds to move to Malta to even pay your school fees, and then the expectation is that you start paying debt. My darling, it will be so difficult for you. I won't even tell you, it will be so hard for you. I'm going to break it down, just what to the end of it. I'm going to break it down for you in terms of expected income versus expenses, so that you would see for yourself. At the end of the day, it's all about planning. Like I said, you cannot borrow funds to pay your school fee and you come here and think that, oh, you get money, you start earning a lot of funds to be able to pay your debt. Except you are lucky, because there are some people that I know that they earn really high, so they are able to actually pay their debts and all of that. But it is hard. Don't come with that expectation. Plan well. So you need to do proper planning. You need to really, really, live within your means as well. I think that's one thing I have seen over time, right? And don't expect that you're coming here and then you're going to start working the next week. Some people do it outside the box, but it is so risky. I have heard of someone that came here and then started working. In fact, the person even already had the residence permit. All they just needed to do is, okay, ask the employer to register with the body in charge of this. But no, this person did not register, and the person was arrested. Maybe someone snitched on him in the office or for whatever reason, but the person he was snitched on and he was arrested. He was detained. Let me use the word detained. He was detained for about 1 month. Do you understand? He was detained for 1 month. Not my student though, because I can imagine that I would have been panicking, But the person was detained for 1 month. Eventually, he was released. They agreed that he continues his studies. However, he cannot work, he cannot do anything. And once his study is over, once he's done with his education, he's moving. In fact, I think they wanted to even deport him. He had like a lawyer or someone that was able to appeal on his behalf, and they allowed him stay. But once his studies is over, he's moving back. Like he has to leave the country, he can't work. So why would you want to put yourself in that kind of situation? In the sense that I'm talking about those who kind of walk outside the books. I personally believe in doing things according to the book, so that no one will hold me tomorrow to say, oh, why did I work on this day? And I will be able to work with my full chest. I'll be able to actually work without any fear, do anything I want to do without any fear at all. So what I'm just trying to say is that you need to plan ahead. Do not expect to start working once you arrive in Malta. It will take you around 2 to 3 months, because you need your residence permit. And your residence permit, depending on how fast you are able to find an accommodation, it could either be faster or easy. So if, for example, you already have that sorted out and you're arriving in Malta that same month you're applying for your permit, within 1-2 months, you can then get your, apply, and maybe hopefully it's not a very busy period, because I don't want you to quote me, and you now have your residence permit and you can now apply for that job. So that's it about this whole story about, oh, coming here to suffer, it's not easy here. It won't be easy if you don't plan well. You can imagine, let's break it down. You can imagine someone coming here and you've already sorted your school fees, for example. Let's say, let me use masters now, right? You've sorted your, because I believe that if you're coming from an undergraduate program, it's 3 years or 4 years program, around 6,000 euros on the average per year. First of all, to even gain admission, you need to pay like the entire year school fee. So what you now be budgeting about is subsequent years. You might have a job and be able to save up maybe half of the school fee for the next year. But then most of the time, you're expected to be really young. So maybe your parents are still fending for you. Do you get what you'll be working for is just like living expenses. But if you're coming for masters, imagine if you've already sorted your school fee, you're coming here, you're not paying anything at all. All you just need to do is settle down, pay for your accommodation. That is why, you see, one of the reasons why statement of account is important. That's why they always want to check to see what you have in your statement of account, to see if you'll be able to live here conveniently without going through all sorts, right? So now let me just break it down in terms of the expected income versus expenses, right? So for example, if you come here and you get a job, usually the average is around 6 euros per hour. Some employers pay lower than this. Some employers pay 5 euros, 5 euros 50 per hour. Some people even get 80 euros per hour. That's just the truth. I know someone that, earns 80 euros per hour. As a student, you are only allowed to work 20 hours a week. So if you calculate it, 20 euros times, let me use the average 6 euros. So that's 120 euros per week. So 120 times 4 is 480. Yeah, that's as an average if you're working part-time. However, during holidays, people work longer hours, obviously, because it's holidays, So some people are able to work 40 hours during holidays. During school period, depending on your school, you can work for 20 hours, and some people work more. However, they need to check to be sure. I need to always put this disclaimer now, so no one will quote me. They need to check to be sure that it is actually right, okay? So, for example, in the event that you are working just 20 hours a week, that's 480 euros per month. So I'm going to break it down into two. I kind of noted it down, so I'll be, because I needed to ask around, ask questions, ask my students in terms of what they currently do, what they're paying and all of that, and ask people as well. So I'll break it down into two and see how important it is for you to live within your means. Rent. So you can either share a room or share an apartment. If you're sharing an apartment, you're going to pay more. If you're renting like a 1-bedroom apartment or a studio apartment, like I've seen people who would say they don't want to share. No way, they're not going to share at all. They want to live alone. Obviously, you'll be ready to pay a lot of money. In fact, I think for that category, I won't put that category here because it's very far-fetched. It's just, most people would rather share. If you want to stay alone, you'll be looking at 650 euros, 700 euros per month as rent. Sometimes this includes bill, and in the event that it doesn't include bill, you'll be paying like maybe another 20 euros per month for bills. So you can already see that you cannot be coming here to say, no, you don't want to share, and then you're earning 480 euros. Like, my sisters and brothers, how are you supposed to cope? It's not possible. Do you understand? Now, let's look at those sharing room. You can share a room and pay 200 euros for a shared room. Right? You can even share a room and pay 150 euros. Okay? And then you can have your own room to yourself and pay about 300 euros, 350 euros. For, like I said, it depends on what you find. 400 euros. In fact, I know someone who pays 450 euros for a room. So you see that, I would say that rent is like what really makes you either spend more or spend less. So if you're paying 200 euros per month, usually that would be inclusive of bills, right? Even though it is not included, let's say electricity and water bills, you'll be paying like 20 euros per month. I pay about, I have a family and we have a lot of appliances and all, and I pay about 50 euros on the average per month. €50, €60 per month. So I would expect that if you are just sharing a room, you'll be paying €10, €20 or even less, okay, for water and electricity. And then you're now paying for internet. Usually, everyone in the apartment will have that same Wi-Fi box. So usually internet is €35, so everyone can share. So if you want to eat, I don't know what you want to eat, let's say €100 for feeding. What I used to tell a lot of people, a lot of my students, is that they just bring a lot of food stuff, especially those that cannot do that Nigerian food. Because when you're spending a lot of money in African stores, that would, shopping in African stores really make you spend a lot. As comparing it to like the regular supermarket. Okay, so rent for a shared room 200, let's say €200. Okay, water and electricity about, let's say €10. Let's say €20. But it can't be, because if you are sharing a room, that means two of you will share the water and electricity bill. So let's say €10. So that's 210. Internet, let's say another €10. That's €220. Feeding, what are you eating? Worst case, €100. I know how much I thought I had it done back. So I know how much I spend monthly. I think I've put up the video somewhere. I would budget like €100 for a student in terms of shopping for the month and eating. Okay, and then transport is €0 because it's free of charge. Okay, so that's 200 plus 10, 10. So that's 220 plus €100, 320. In terms of expenses, I really don't see what else you'll be spending on. Okay, 320 and you're earning 480. So you can even save from that. You can save €160 from that. However, if you choose that, you want to live in your own, you don't want to share room, and then you're paying about maybe €400 or €350. Let me use €400. So €400. By the time you add the rest of the bills, paying over €500, spending over €500 every month. It all depends on. In fact, see this transport that I mentioned that is free of charge. There are some people that will, like, they cannot use the public transport. They rather go on taxis. If you earn a lot more, you work a lot more, and you earn about €800, you can now decide that, okay, you know what, let me move away from this shared room, let me move away from this shared apartment and live, let's say, in a different kind of space. So at the end of the day, it all depends on what you can do. And some people will even come and be like, oh, they don't want to do certain kind of jobs. When you come here, you expect to do like the basic, or let's say, those kind of jobs that people tag as, what's the word? Not really professional jobs, okay? Until eventually you find your feet and you are now stable. I head to the beach, and I don't know to start recording. I've never been to this beach before. I don't even know if it's like a proper sandy beach, but let's go. So the summary of everything is live within your means. If you have that conviction that, I need to further my education, I need to relocate abroad via study, then trust me, do not listen to anyone. Because trust me, a lot of people will be here. They can't leave. You hear people complain, but they won't leave. But they'll complain and discourage others. So the thing is, compared to summer, the sun is high out there, but the breeze is cool. So the sun is not scorching, Really lovely breeze. Unlike during summer, I kid you not, during summer, you would run away from the sun because the wind will be hot. That's why even in Malta, a lot of all schools actually, they close for the year in June because they feel that the months of July, August can be so hot. So they just close for the session in June and then resume again towards the end of September, just because of the weather, trust me. But I promise you that in terms of education, they cover a lot. My son was just telling me the other day that they finished their syllabus for maths and English. I'm like, what? Because at the beginning of this session, I'm like, how are you people supposed to cover all of this and still be able to cover, because it's in the penultimate year in primary, and still be able to cover up everything before your exams for end of primary, and it was like they finished everything. So you might feel that, the school period is short, they have a whole 3 months of holiday, but trust me, they cover a lot. So finally, my people, let's not forget that above all, as a Christian, the God factor is so important. It is really necessary that you are at the place where God has destined that you would be. Ha! Rema! It has to be God leading you anyway at the end of the day. Yes, I know that we can always. There was something I watched recently about trying to pray for God's will and also your will sometimes. You might be fantasizing about a particular place and God might be like, you know what? Let me just grant your request. But at the end of the day, just pray. That's it. And ensure that God is directing you. So see you in my next video. September intake, October intake is currently ongoing. The earlier, the better. Okay? So if you want someone who can, if you are looking for a consultant who can help you in terms of going through all of this with you, from admissions to visa processing and settling in, I'm your plug. Okay, see you in my next video. Bye.